This button here is the video analysis mode. Once you have a movie, you're going to click this button and it will allow you to analyze the movie. This button here is to allow you to track the object frame by frame. It'll automatically advance, so if you push, right, it'll automatically go forward one frame and you don't have to do it manually. This button here is the magnify button. It will allow you to look at an object blown up 2 times so you can make sure that you see it well, especially when it's blurry. So if you want to make sure you're always getting it in the center, that'll help you to see it better. This button here turns on and off the tools so that it locks them in place. So, and allows you to edit them if you need to. This button here allows you to set the toolbar. This button here is the coordinate axes. You have to set the coordinate axes so that they are at the, you want to set it so that it's at some origin, whatever you make the origin. You can move these around by simply moving it, right? If you need to lock or unlock it, you click this button here. Will allow you to edit or move them. If you want to rotate it, you can make the X point up and the Y point to the left, or anything like that, down and to the right. So if you want to leave it, you always want, it's easiest to make your origin be the very first point, so you can always adjust it afterwards. When you don't want to see it, you can hide it. If you want to lock it so it can't be moved, use this button here. This button here is the calibration tool. You want to always have a distance that is known in your video. So you can see this person just taped a meter stick to the wall. You want the motion of your object to be as close to the plane of this meter stick as possible. You don't have to use a meter stick. If let's say you had a half a meter stick, you could actually do this, but unless you edit what that distance is, Capstone won't know. So if you need to edit this, you could say that it's 0.5 meters, right? You can make this whatever you want. So let's say you forgot the meter stick, you went out and you measured what 1 brick was. You could actually say, okay, I'm going to make 1 brick, and you went outside and in the hallway, you could measure what a brick length was, and you could edit what this distance is to be whatever distance you got. This here is a measurement tool. You could measure distance, angles, or radii. So if I wanted to measure distance between, let's say, this tracked point and this one, I could. I just make sure that's pointing. See, it's 0.20 meters. Or if I wanted to fast forward through the movie, I could, oops, too far. There it is. So if I wanted to track through the movie, then I could measure from, okay, here's the ball here, and at the beginning it was over there, and I could find that horizontal distance is 3.47 meters, right, from that point over to that point. And you don't need to track the object necessarily to do that. If you want to try the angle tool, so if you want to know the angle at which it was launched, you could do that. Be like, okay, I want to know the angle from the first point to the second point, and it'll let you know what that angle is. And should you need to know the radius, you can, let's say I want to know the radius of the ball. Oops. Let me get rid of those. I'd need to move this so that it was around the ball. and then I could figure out what that size was. So you just place this around the ball, and it'll tell you what that object is. So you could do that as well. So that's all the measurement tool. This tool is a text box. So if I wanted to annotate this before I took a picture of a screenshot, I could say, I could type in whatever I want, the radius of the ball, something like that. So you could annotate things. Now, anytime you put a display in that you want to get rid of, this button here is a delete tool. So if I wanted to get rid of something, I would have to, I'd have to click that. Okay. Command Z sometimes works for certain things and other times for other things. So this, to get rid of that, see I clicked that. If I have this angle measuring tool, I can just delete that. So you click on the object and then you can hide it or delete it once it's live. So this is the delete element, whatever you've clicked on. This tool creates a tracked object, so when you click it, you'll see you have object 1. So these two things are directly linked. This deletes that object, so now I don't have an object. If I click once, if I click the second time, I have a new object. So this way you can get multiple trials, let's say if you wanted to, for on the same movie. And you could graph them separately. So once you have a tracked object, you then click on that object, and it will put a mark on it, so that then it'll fast forward through your one frame at a time through your movie, and that's what this does. So this deletes the object. Then you're left with just object 1. So I'm just going to track that for a second. This here, deletes all the points as well. So that's another option. This deletes the tracked object as a whole. If you track your object, and you want to delete just one of those points, you first have to select the point. You have to get out of the tracking mode, and then you can pick just that one point when it's live. So this point here I can now take off. See, took that point off. This button here pins it. In other words, you can't edit once it's pinned. It'll keep it displayed so that you can see. Sometimes when you go to another object, when you come back, your points seem to be gone. But if you click the pin and then play your movie, your points will reappear. This button are the properties. You can select the appearance, right? What it looks like, the color it is, all these things you can change, right? All what the vectors look like. There's what the calibration tool looks like. So those are just different settings that you can change, and you can kind of go through that if you want to take a look through that. And this, right, kind of gives you the whole toolbar, but it gives you all of the descriptions as you go, written out.